The grand final at the ZOTAC Cup Monthly Final is here, ladies and gentlemen. We have Team Polska. Team Polska Zagranishka, I don't know. Going up against the Sandwich Monkeys, and our first map is Infernal Shrines. So, at this point right now, we are actually in a situation where we are seeing, well, probably going to be seeing a ban on Zul again. He is incredibly powerful on this map in particular. So, I'm a bit curious to see how exactly, or if the teams are going to let him through. I doubt it, because oftentimes when Zul is being picked here, what happens is that instead you are seeing, instead of like everybody going on the shrine, you're seeing Zul at one lane, and everybody else trying to delay the shrine for as long as possible and lay out this Punisher, and Zul is just like soaking lanes and like pushing through. These actually not ban out. The Sandwich Monkeys are banning Greymane over Zul, and Polska is saying like, hell yeah boy, we're gonna take that old guy. Give me that old guy with a scythe. That's fine. And the Sandwich Monkeys again with Rhaegar first. Okay, so guys, in this case, this is basically just saying one thing. Choker!
You are
Right
not
there.
prepared.
The Warchuck with a sub. Dude, like, that sounds scary. Alright, like, you don't want to end up in a drinking contest with him. Okay, so, dude, thank you very much for the sub, first of all. But, guys, we are going to see a choker.
You are not
Tarek,
prepared.
thank you very much for the sub. Dude, where are these sub coming from? Nice, I like it. Thank you very much, guys. It's appreciated. So we have Vala taken. There's the Sonya. And, I mean, if Polska has seen any games of the Sandwich Monkeys on this channel lately, they know that there is a very good chance of a chokeout. The resub as well. Steam Chipo, thank you very much for the resub. There's a sub train coming. Look at that. Wow. And there's a Johanna. Okay, so we have, first of all, we have Zul, which this is an incredible strong front line already. And one of the things that limits is the option to go for a Nuborak. And a Nuborak is a great counter against Cho'Gall. I personally believe that Polska is just simply going to ban him out. Because this is exactly the same setup that the Sandwich Monkeys used in most of their games before when they wanted to go for Cho'Gall. And actually, you can play Cho'Gall very nicely on this map right now. Infernal Shrines, Tomb of the Spider Queens are great maps for Cho'Gall. That is something that they could do right now. And even if they don't go in Cho'Gall, the setup is not a bad one. Having that Vala around is always nice, and she can actually put a lot of pressure on Sonya. Vala is great against Sonya in this setup, because later on with the slow, after the Frost Shot has been taken as the level 13 talent, she can just like push in without end. The Sandwich Monkeys with the Charism ban, and yeah, there's of course immediately the Cho'Gall ban. I mean, like, even banning out the Charism, Polska is saying like, you could not make this more obvious. But that doesn't mean that the Sandwich Monkeys are now in a situation where they're like, I guess our draft doesn't work anymore. Nope, they are actually going to try and see what they can accomplish with this one. Muradin is around. They could go into Muradin here. Johanna has been taken. She is not doing the extra damage on those minions on the shrine anymore, but she is really good for the wave clear, as isn't pushing lanes out. Going into the Stitches over Muradin, you can actually go for a second tank as well. That isn't too bad. We're having Li Ming still around, so there's another hero that they could take. Li Ming and Lunara are two of the great damage dealers that we still have. But there's also Thrall to consider. And since we already are looking at Sonya on the other side of the draft, going into a Thrall would not be a bad choice. Like, you can play that's... Oh. Instead, they're starting things with Jaina. Now, that's also, again, a pick that we don't see too often. We have seen a Jaina in one of the last series with the Zeratul as a combo. But right now, with Jaina, I mean, hook into Storm can be quite nice. Jaina has one of those things where if you fight on the shrine, you have to be... I mean, it's all about like your cooldowns, right? So if you go into the cooldowns and you try to get the AoE out, there's other heroes that are usually a little bit better picking up the minions. And that's one of the reasons why we could have, of course, seen something like Lunara. And actually, it's Polska picking up that Lunara and saying, like, okay, we're going to take her. Because she is really good at that. And she also, if you go into Nature's Culling, for example, you can even get extra damage against the boss out, even though it's more of an NA thing than a Europe thing. So most of the European teams don't go into Nature's Culling. We have seen a few play around with the talent on certain maps. It can be quite nice since you get the extra damage then out against everything that is not a hero. But still. When it comes to heal, we could see... It's actually like a good question. Uther could potentially be taken. That would help at least Sonya. So far, I don't really believe that he's going to have too much trouble with the heals. I think Uther would be alright. You could go into Morales. Morales has, of course, a problem with the positioning against Stitches. But then again, you have 3 heroes at the front line already. So Morales would be an option. Morales, then again, is a hero that is played mostly on North America. When we compare Europe and North America. In Europe, it's not as common. And then we, of course, have still our utility supports. We have Tacita around. We have also Tyrande around. And they decide in favor of Brightwing instead, which has the extra polymorph, which is also pretty cool. A blink heal. I like the Brightwing choice. I have to admit, I like the Brightwing choice. It makes them also a little bit flexible, more against the last pick that's going to happen, no matter what it's going to be. They have a polymorph potentially. And I think Uther would have been good here, but I really like that they go for Brightwing. I feel Brightwing complements their setup quite nicely and is also in a position where they can just simply get a bit more AoE out with their Arcane Flare, which is actually very, very cool. So Brightwing in this option, kudos. Looks good. And we have Zagara taken very late for the Sandwich Monkeys now. More control on the map here. So yeah, cool setup for our first game, guys. So map number 1 is Infernal Shrines. Let's jump right in and see which team is going to take the lead here in the best of 3 series. Game number 1, everybody, has started. It is the grand final of the ZOTAC Monthly Final, and we have to the left side of the map our first map, Infernal Shrines. We have the Sandwich Monkeys with their new lineup. Jaina played by Zarmany. We have ADRD on Zagara, ETF on top on Stitches, Phalox again on Rhaegar, and we have Lumpy on his Vala. Probably going to go for that arrow build again. To the right side of the map, we are seeing their opponent. It is Polska, Team Polska with Prishpli on Sonya. We have Blikitni on Zul, Nika on Lunara, Zadoon on Johanna, and Leo from Poland is playing a Brightwing here. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting setup here. The arrow build, as we already expected, is going to come into play for Vala once again. So we're going after the cost-effective material, going to see a full focus on the arrows, and with repeating arrow on 7 and tumble on 16. ETF, yeah, it was a good idea. It would have worked, but he hit the wall instead. So it was a good thought process. This is one of the moments when he probably face palms himself pretty hard. It's just like, oh my god, what was that? What did I just do? But yeah, it happens. So that's not the start that they wanted, but that's the hook with which he redeems himself. Nika gets hooked but jumps away, so Bambi is already on the way back. And well, for now, we also have at the level 1 talent on Bambi a slightly different talent. Photosynthesis. Synthesis is, I guess it's how it's pronounced in English. I never had to pronounce that word in English before. So you get the mana reduction, or basically you get a mana return. So a bit more sustain here when it comes to that. Apparently going to like spam Pride hard. Level 1 talent is of course one of those that is still like very flexible on Lunara overall. Brightwing chosen for the heals here, gives you a bit of also AoE damage on those shrines as well, which is going to work as well. For now we're having a rotation between mid and bottom. Pretty much the standard. At the top lane it's Zagara going up against Zul, so that's going to work there. And yeah, Zagara just basically just attempting in this case to get at least a couple of creep tumors down. We have Zul in this sense, just like as you can see, with the scythe taking down all of the creep tumors whenever he gets a chance, and also getting a couple of extra damage in. He can later go into Draguls on 4 if he feels that he needs the mana sustain on the lane against Zagara. But besides that, I would still expect either Jailers or Dragul's Essence to be taken, and then of course you can always deviate back into the Skeleton Mastery build. We're having, besides that, also Lightning Bond, again taken. Phalox really likes this talent. It's also very good for this map because you get extra minions with it if you have 2 lightning shields on all of those shrine fights. The shrine is, by the way, active, but the teams are fighting for level 4. So that's currently happening here. Yeah, we have currently everybody rotating top, Brightwing staying bottom for extra experience. She can of course just simply use the face shield. And on level 4 again the mana reduction on the heals. Nice hook once again. There we go, Zul low, but ADRD also taking a lot of damage here. And Leo is also incredibly low on his Brightwing. This is getting a real problem. Johanna is about to go down. Johanna is dead. And look how everybody is just pressured back into oblivion. The hook again against Zul, but they don't get the kill. Wow. That was actually unfortunate. It looked like for a moment like they were really sure they would get the kill in, and then it just didn't work out. There's a quick pause on the side of the Sandwich Monkeys, but that definitely started up with a bang. Yeah, he just gets barely back to base. We have now Snowstorm taken as well. ETF seems to have some keyboard troubles. Well, his mouse is definitely working because that last hook wasn't too shabby. We're seeing Jailers, as expected, as the level 4 talent. We're having Warpaint into focused attack on the side of Sonya. And well, talking talents overall, Stitches going into Amplified Healing plus Hungry for More. He is the solo tank of his team, so it's not one of those slam builds that we oftentimes see on this map on Infernal Shrines when Stitches actually is played with a second frontliner. In this case, they don't even play Thrall or Sonya next to him, so he's very, very much alone at the front. Rhaegar is melee, but he shouldn't really be there. I mean, Rhaegar, after the change came through that Ancestral Healing doesn't hit Rhaegar himself anymore. This is one of the things where you need to make sure that you stay in the back. You want to make sure that you are not moving out on the front, because if that happens, then you're just an easy target for your opponent and you are going to get jumped. So already we're having the teams ready and back to business, and that leaves us still at the top lane with now the move straight for that shrine that you can see here right now. In this case, there is still a bit of AoE. I mean, as I said, Stitches didn't go into the slam build, right? So without that, they are relying now on the double lightning shield, which is really important. You can see that in action as is. And then we have Lumpy. He can still use the multi-shot. He can use his arrows, especially since he has the cost-effective material already. And yeah, that's enough AoE to get those shrines real quickly, or at least like take the minions down there. We're having, in this case, Polska is not even like trying to go for it. Team Polska is just starting to push. And oftentimes you see that with Zul in the first place. One of the reasons why they actually didn't go for a split push was that he was already up at the top lane as is, and up against Sagara, where he couldn't just simply leave without her getting value out against the structure. So it's an arcane Punisher, but we all know that if you position yourself properly behind the gate as the Punisher advances and bait it in, you shouldn't get too much damage. It's still one of the most common mistakes in Quick Match and Hero League that you have one hero running over here. Punisher jumps in front of the gate and then only 2 towers are attacking it, and you lose so much. Like this, the Punisher's going to jump in, 4 towers plus the fort are going to attack him. Makes it a little bit easier, but as it is an arcane Punisher, they are still going to get a lot of value out of it. Considering that it's the first one, this is the dream. I mean, you still get the most damage with an Arcane Punisher, even though Blizzard already nerfed it, but as you can tell already, 2 of those towers are definitely going to fall. The gank, on the other hand, could result in Stitches falling as well. Nice body blocks so far. Phalanx, oh, can he? Yes, the heal is there, and even ETF with the hook, and Nika is down. God, jeez, that was awesome. That was great. I mean, nearly the kill against Stitches, and you could see how Nika was greeting for the kill a little bit. And then ETF says, well, I might die, but you die with me. Rhaegar heals him, he stays alive, but they get the kill against Bambi instead. Join your mother. And yeah, that was brilliant. I mean, that's the second kill for them right now. 2 kills against 0. We have a level lead, a very solid one at that already, and that Arcane Punisher did work. The entire idea of the gank was to catch them outside the range of the Punisher and to get a bit of value back by taking a few of the heroes down. The problem is that didn't work. So they lost the hero, and then they lost to the Arcane Punisher a lot of the structures as well. And that was a huge problem for them. We're seeing at the same time now also, in this case for Jaina, the Iceland's taken. This is actually like a cooler reduction talent, which is pretty... I mean, it's pretty cool. You can kite an opponent quite nicely if you use that, and it makes you oftentimes a little bit safer. So Harmony really likes the talent, as we've seen in the previous games. We're having also now on level 7, again, the Ratna's Blessing for the sustain. We're seeing Vile Vigor. And the hook so far on the side of ETF are pretty much on top. He positions himself well for that, but he is very much alone. Phalanx a bit too far out again. He needs to be very careful when he goes in. It's of course always tempting to use that lunge on Rhaegar to deliver the final blow, but as Rhaegar, you can't ancestor yourself anymore, and he's going to be a primary target for the opponent here. But he stays safe, he's alive, and he has not too many people at his side who can really just zone for him if he's a bit too far out. Rapid Incubation, the talent for ADRD. Would have called it earlier, but the last time that I actually said he's going to go for it, he instead chose Battle Momentum, so yeah, maybe we look silly. ADRD back to his usual shenanigans on the other hand right now, going for the lane sustain and trying to just push this lane into oblivion. ADRD, AFK top lane. Just pushing until everything is gone. We're seeing Lumpy again with the Rain of Vengeance, as in this case. Actually, we don't. We see him with Strafe. So, Rain of Vengeance is a talent that a lot of Vala players still don't take. It depends a bit on the setup. In this case, once more, you have a Maw. I personally love Rain of Vengeance with the setup, and Maw or Void Prisoner great setups. That is a very nice attempt with the Ring of Frost, but that didn't really work the way that he intended to, I suppose. It's level 10 already versus 9, and that's of course a huge threat now to Team Polska. But yeah, so Strafe is going to be used from a little bit farther away from the backline. You can especially like zone Bambi with that, and you can just like go over the Strafe in and just like make sure that Nika is going to take a lot of damage. Against the squishies, it's pretty great, and it's also a zoning tool that you can use. But as I said, personally, with a setup like Maw, I feel a Rain of Vengeance is great. One of the reasons actually why a lot of Vala players don't go into Rain is because Strafe is so much easier to use. You basically just click and then you dodge stuns a little bit. With a Rain of Vengeance, if you whiff that, you get no value whatsoever out of it. So, yeah, if you are unsure if you can land a good one, then by all means, go for Strafe, especially if your opponent doesn't have too much interrupt. For now, you're seeing also the Poison Nova, and that's a great talent. We've seen a lot of scale mages being chosen, especially in North America, and also in Europe it has been chosen a little bit. But Poison Nova is, of course, an amazing tool if you can get close to your opponent. You saw the value in a few of the earlier games here already today. Considering that we don't have too many frontliners, I could have seen him go into the Skeletal Mages, even though in Europe Poison Nova is more popular. But as we've said, like, we talked with Bakery about it a little bit the last time that he casted with me, and he actually said that the Skeletal Mages have a pretty good win ratio as well. They just don't understand why, but it works. Which I guess is alright as long as it does actually work. Against all of those frontliners, or sorry, all of those backliners, I could have seen Skeletal Mages to zone them out a little bit when you go for the Shine. In this case, though, the Nova can do a whole lot, but he is not even with the team. At the top lane, we have Jaina for experience. Here comes the Stray from Lumpy. Good damage. It's a little bit of a poke, there's more to it. And no way that this thing is going to... Okay, there we go. The Hero Minion. Hero Minion takes it out and eliminates it. At the top lane, we have Zarmini starting to really push this one in quite nicely, and the wave is going to complete the job. But overall, it's still that lead in experience that we've already seen earlier for the Sandwich Monkeys. So they are actually about to hit level 13, which is going to be a big deal for them. And with that talent, they will first of all have now also... Well, first of all, they are going to have the title race. That's like one of the most important talents actually on Rega. If you are going for a cooldown reduction build, you can get like a massive spam out with heals, and against the Poison Nova, this is incredibly important talent. Poison Nova is an AoE damage, and if Zul gets into your team and gets, let's say, 4 to 5 heroes with a Poison Nova, a hero like Uther has incredible trouble of healing that up. You need someone that has a bit more AoE heal, and that's why the cooldown reduction on Rega is great here, because it will allow him to just like heal much faster, and it's going to be awesome for them. We're also seeing the improved Ice Block taken for Jaina. I mean, for Zarmini it makes sense. Oh, there's the kill against Zul. Nice. Lumpy in a bit of a fight there, and could use the strafe to his advantage in this case. We're having the heals also coming in from Rega, so he doesn't even die for this one. And that makes now 3 kills against 0 in favor of the Sandwich Monkeys, who are pushing the mid lane at the same time now. We have the... especially I feel like in this case with Lunara, she didn't really get as much value so far as she usually does. But let's look a bit at the damage. Should still be the highest damage dealer on the team. Mea, Sonya, 18,000 for Lunara. Still alright, 24,000 for Vala. Looking pretty good too. Siege damage, of course, is quite nice, especially on a hero like Jaina, since she was like on the top lane alone for a long time here. Lumpy with his build. Again, it's all about the arrow spam here. You go into Tumble on 16, you go into Repeating Arrow on level 7, and you just like try to spam that out as much as you can in the fights. If you get an isolated target, then that's of course even better for you. Johanna respecting all of that blizzard damage and everything else, like with the arrows, so much that she goes into Spell Shield. And we have again the hook, but Blink Heal makes Theo safe once again in the backline. Lumpy a bit far out. Oh, and the Ancestral is there. Good job by Felox. Really nice timing. At the same time, we have Fishbly now trying to go in. Zadoon, oh, the double kill, the triple kill, the quad kill, and Nika dodges the hook like a boss, but he's the only survivor right now. He can maybe join Destiny's Child, but he won't be able to get that Punisher. ADRD is still pushing the mid lane. He's not even going for the Punisher, and neither is Vala. Lumpy finished off the fort at the top lane, which miraculously actually survived that wave from earlier. So level 16 talents, a 3-level lead, and the Sandwich Monkeys, they are playing amazingly well. I mean, right now, this is looking really strong. Of course, Fishing Hook taken, makes sense. No Slam talent so far. What else would you go for? Here's the Tumble, and that's going to increase the damage output on the side of Vala even more. Lumpy's mana pool is actually looking pretty sweet as well, and that is mostly because of this talent. It is actually so important. That's 30 mana less. That's incredible. And think about how much mana you actually like how many arrows you spam out if you go for the full combo. You spam out 3 arrows, so that's nearly 100 mana less that you have to use in these cases, which is a lot to allow you to use the combo multiple times. So for now, 7 kills against 0. We're seeing well, the only thing that Team Polska can do. They're trying to soak experience, and they're trying to get a couple of camps. The Wisp helps with that, but overall, it's just really a tricky spot for them to be in. And this is not even accounting for the Punisher that is now taken and starting to go through the map. They're eliminating that camp. That didn't really give them a lot of value, I suppose. The Punisher is looking at that as like, Puni, Kazraka, must smash. So Punisher starts to move in. We're having at the bot lane, well, they're starting to go in again. Brightwing is getting some experience and will just portal in time. But overall, this is like for them really a bad moment. 16 talents means that they could actually start to go for the keep here as well. Strafe already used. Lumpy trying to get a bit of damage in with that. Well, didn't really do too much, but still zoned slightly. There's the disengage after the Punisher has been taken apart. So for now, they can actually move back. But they have a 3-level lead. They need to capitalize on that. They cannot just simply wait the entire time until another Punisher is on the map and say, like, okay, we're going to get this. Like, guys, if you are in the lead in any game, the scariest moment is when your opponent hits level 16. Well, first of all, let's focus on that, and then we're going to elaborate on this for a moment. For now, we're actually seeing the approved Ice Block chosen. Zarmany is being healed too late. Here's the Poison Over, and the more hits nothing. This is a disaster now for the Sandwich Monkeys, because all of a sudden, that's 2 kills. That could even be a third, theoretically. Nope, Nika doesn't get close enough. And that is now the opponent back to business. And as I was saying, if you are ahead, if you are like quick matching an opponent and you completely wreck them in Hero League, people start to get a little bit cocky for good reason. I mean, you dominate all the early fights and that's amazing. But one of the things that happens is you all of a sudden see your opponent that has been dominated by you hit level 16 and suddenly the game turns around. You lose a team fight and all of a sudden you are behind. And it's pretty interesting how that happens. Level 16 to level 20 talents is the biggest gap that we have in the game. And this is also the gap where you will be on even talents with your opponent for the longest time. So even after they've been around, like behind for like 2-3 levels for the entire match, once that they hit 16, they have a pretty decent timing window in which they can now suddenly start to fight with you on even talents once again. And if that happens, and they win a team fight, thanks to that underdog bonus that you also get because the opponent is ahead in levels, you get an XP bonus, and if you get like 3-4 heroes, you get so much experience that all of a sudden you're back to business. And also in the later stages, objectives are stronger, meaning that if you win one of these team fights, you can just simply go for the objective and then carry with that as well. So that's one of the things that is going to happen at some point for sure. I mean, right now, we're having Zadoon and Nika in a position at the top lane. They're starting to get this one as well. And I'm really a little bit curious to see if they can now go for one of the Punishers. So, it would be pretty nice to actually see how exactly the Sandwich Monkeys are going to play against it. Because they still have a 1.5 level lead. They still are 1.5 levels ahead. But at this point, we're having still Brightwing soaking experience at the bot lane. That's extra experience that they get. Can jump in as well, and this is starting to make things, of course, a little bit dicey for the Sandwich Monkeys. If they lose a Punisher now, it could turn against them. Once they hit level 20, it's going to be a walk in the park, or at least it should be. They haven't killed a keep yet. That's really important. With no keep taken down, this is still anybody's game to take. AD Artie is under so much pressure, has to be healed early on already. The Poison Nova is really strong, and that all of a sudden puts especially Zarmany, like he's completely isolated. Prishpli and, oh my god, the hook against Nika. That's the double kill that they've been waiting for. That was great. Yes, Jaina dies, but still, they get a double kill against it, and that strafe actually gave good value. That was exactly chasing down low hit point targets, and now we are having 5 heroes wiped. It was a good start into that fight, but then after all, we had that turnaround. So great play here. Lumpy once again with like massive damage. And I mean, you can already see it on the board here. 58,000. His arrow build is really working well for him on this map. And in the meantime, we're seeing Camps pushing the mid lane. We're seeing Camps pushing the bot lane. So they definitely dodged that bullet. If they lose that fight up at the top, then we are going to see the Team Polska back in business. But as is, this is of course now the worst case scenario. You are 2 levels behind. Your opponent has level 20 already. The Punisher is going to push through the top. 5 heroes have been eliminated. It's 12 kills against 3, and they are just simply going straight through that wall, and the Punisher itself is going to help them to drop the keep, and now if they get another kill, they can of course simply go for core. 5 heroes are going to be back for the defense here. Keep is going to fall one way or another, but are they going to lose the game? That's the question. Are they going to lose here or not? The 20 advantage, 3 level lead, a 2.5. We move back as Nika is getting some damage in. Hook is not ready just yet. They're locked down again. Stitches, ETF. Here comes the Putrid Bile, and Blink Kidney is down. It's just too much. The Putrid Bile here is a massive problem. Punisher jumps on Leo. Leo's away from the team. No heals. They get Stitches, but they lose Sonya. They lose Lunara, and they're going to lose Johanna as well. Zarmany is now coming in. He was, of course, killed in the last fight, so it was a 4 versus 5 actually for quite some time here. But the Punisher zoning Leo was more or less the final straw. Since he pushed Brightwing back, Brightwing couldn't go for the heals, and now they can just simply finish the first game. Infernal Shrines, ladies and gentlemen, game number 1 ends in favor of the Sandwich Monkeys here at the grand final of the ZOTAC Monthly. Well played here. We're going to jump into our second map once that the players are ready. But a good job here already by the Sandwich Monkeys, and a very scary team to face. Game number 2, everybody. We have the Sandwich Monkeys going up against Team Polska. And currently we have the Sandwich Monkeys in the 1-0 lead in the series. So, well, right now if they win this one, then they are, of course, the ZOTAC champion of the month. Dragonshy is the map, and we have an early ban against Charism already. So more or less the Sandwich Monkeys... What are they actually saying with the Charism ban? Because, to be absolutely honest with you, for a second I was like, yeah, well, they are threatening a Cho'Gall again. And trying to like force that second ban to be a Cho'Gall ban. But that makes no sense, because Cho'Gall on this map is literally like, this is like the worst map for the hero. Polska currently with the lockdown on Zul again. We have Li Ming banned out, and I'm a little bit curious to see how the Sandwich Monkeys are going to play this. Again, we have a Zagara for the top lane. Super early draft here for her. But this really starts to feel more and more like we're going to see a bit of a different setup now. So, Charism has been banned. And seeing him as an early ban is kind of crazy. It's actually a little bit insane. It's one of the things that you usually don't see. I mean, we've seen Charism banned out earlier, but that was because they were forcing a ban on Cho'Gall. I mean, you can look at it from 2 ways. Either you force a ban on Cho'Gall, or your opponent doesn't ban Cho'Gall, and then you're like, well, sweet, then of course we're going to take him. But the Sandwich Monkeys made it so obvious that Cho'Gall ban was forced, and therefore you can't ban anything else against the Sandwich Monkeys, which is for them okay as well. So Muradin chosen as the frontliner. Okay, that makes sense. I mean, Johanna on this map is great because she gets a little bit more wave clear in, so you get good vision on the shrines, you get good vision on the objectives, and that definitely works. But Muradin is still one of the most hit point heavy tank, and he's a great solo tank if you want to play him solo. You can play him together with the Sonya, for example, which we've seen a lot. The Sandwich Monkeys in this case are currently running Thrall already, so they really like to play that setup as well. But I'm super curious for that second ban. I want to see what the Sandwich Monkeys are going to do now. Yeah, that Charism is a bit weird, because so far it doesn't make sense, but it will at some point. Okay, so there's already a Falstad taken, and I mean, Falstad is amazing on this map. They let the Sonya go, so we could see a Sonya ban, which Polska could definitely play. Zul, Sonya, Muradin would be an option for them. Falstad is great for setting up ganks on this map. He can just like fly from lane to lane quite easily and make sure that he also, of course, gets the shrines in later on. So, like, having the flexibility on the map where you have to control 3 points on the map at the same time, more or less, is amazing. And Brightwing is banned out as well. So that's 2 cleanse heroes. That's Rhaegar being banned out. Whoa, okay. So that's 3 heroes that have cleanse that currently got banned out. Just saying. I mean, the only thing... Sandwich Monkeys are obviously limiting the hero pool when it comes to supports. That's why they are starting with Charism and going to a Brightwing ban. They have the next one, and they can go for Uther now, which is, I think, the only hero... No, Malf has cleanse as well. So Uther, Malf, Tyrande, and Tassadar are still around. It's an interesting strategy, actually, and Morales. It's an interesting strategy to go this heavy for bans against supports. Rhaegar being banned out right now, and Sandwich Monkeys were apparently hoping a little bit to get... to like limit the other strong healers, but that's a very interesting approach to the draft. I haven't seen that for a long time. I think I haven't seen that since Morales was introduced, because back then we had very few healers actually. So already the combo with Tyrande Tassadar, quite strong. still need a frontliner. Johanna's likely. And we could see for Polska, I mean, there's still enough around. Like, I'm not really too worried about them when it comes to the supports. There's a Morales, there's a Merfurian, you can go into Uther, and all of those are kind of nice. I would actually say I feel Morales is underplayed in Europe, and I would like to see her a little bit more often. But if you look at the healers right now, I don't know what they want to go for as the last choice. But if they, for example, go into that Sonya that we talked about, they could go into an Uther with the Divine Shield as well. That would work too. But they decide in favor of Malfurion. With the roots in the lockdown, could go... That can actually be really nasty with Zul. Zul going Bone Prison and then Malfurion putting the roots down, locking the target down even further. So those two roaming a little bit at some point, or like just trying to get the same target locked down, that can be quite nasty. But last pick, are we going to see that Sonya still? I would have said that without Malfurion, Sonya would have been more or less a given, or a very huge probability that she's going to be chosen. But with like heal over time, it's going to be a little bit different. Okay, so let's see. They are running down a time pool pretty hard, so they have to make that choice. They have 1 range damage now. They go for Vala. Okay, so they pick Vala here, which has control against the front line then as well. And Sandwich Monkeys, I mean, right off the bat, you would say it's going to be a Johanna, but, well, we have seen on this map, we have actually seen Team Liquid play Arthurs, just throwing it out there. And there's Stitches as well. So, Stitches hook into, you can go Stitches hook into Tyrannus Stun, Muradin into Throw Lockdown. So there's a couple of options on how you can actually play that right now. I wouldn't mind Stitches too much as to be honest with you. Stitches has also pretty decent damage. Arthur's again was played with Tyrande before because you get Howling Blast into Tyrande Stun. So that works as well. But they need some kind of frontliner. Well, they're taking their sweet time there. Okay, Johanna is. Wave clear for now, and that kind of works. Alrighty. Cool. So we have our draft set up. Looks good so far. We're having a double support for the Sandwich Monkeys this time, with them trying to limit the support pool as much as they can for Team Polska. Malfurion is currently being chosen as the heal for Polska with lockdown attempts now. And yeah, game number 2, guys. We have Sandwich Monkeys in the lead, so jump in and let's find out which team is going to take the series. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it is the second map in the best of 3 series here at the ZOTAC Cup Finals, and, well, it could be also the last map of the day. The 1-0 lead for the Sandwich Monkeys now, and we have them to the left side in blue. That's Zarmany on Tacita. We have ADRD on Zagara, Lumpy on Thrall, ETF on Johanna, and we are seeing Phelox on Tyrande this time. To the right side of the map, it is Malfurion, played by Leo from Poland, by the Polish team, Team Polska. We're having Blakitny on Zul, we have Zadoon on Muradin, Nika on Falstad, and Prishpli on Vala. Yeah, I'm pretty excited for this one. I want to see how this plays out for them, especially since we're having Malfurion right now. We see, we have saw in the draft, Sandwich Monkeys actually limit the hero pool quite significantly when it comes to the supports. And that double support, of course, did that even more. And in this setup, I want to see how exactly this is going to come into play. Malfurion has the potential to root a target down that gets locked in first by the Bone Prison, which is also a big deal here. We're seeing everybody in the mid lane, without exception. Yeah, there's the stun from Tyrande. And, of course, right now, there's ETF on top. Once again, ADRD comes in, Phelox, Zarmany already. And down to the bottom of the map, we're currently having just a rotation between the mid and the bottom. So it's basically like a rotation. 4 players on each side are rotating mids to bottom. One setup at the top with Lumpy going up against Blakitny here. And with this rotation happening, it's usually like the 8-second rotation that you have. We're seeing with the talents already a bit of a focus on exactly that happening. The Rangers mark here. So we're going to see lockdown attempts by later on Thrall, but for now with Johanna and that stun on Tyrande, and then the Hunter's mark being applied, so that's going to be pretty awesome. We're having at the top lane still that battle happening between Thrall and also Zul, but the Shrines are now on the map for the first time. And Prishpli is going into that hybrid build that we've talked about with Vala already a lot. A bit of a different style from what we've seen from Lumpy in the games before, where he went into his arrow build. Nika with the Gathering Storm again. So there's a lot of range damage on the side of Team Polska. Two range damage heroes that have a lot of potential damage push out there. So with that, it could really burst down. It could actually burst down any target quite nicely if there is some kind of lockdown with, especially of course, Zul's Bone Prison and then Malfurion with the Root. This is actually quite scary. You have first of all in the later stage the Boomerang on Nika, which can do incredible damage, and then you have also on top of that the auto attacks on Vala, especially with a multi-shot on level 13, slowing targets down even more. Player already 3 against 1 down here. Up at the top on the other hand, but Kidney is getting stunned, locked down. They're trying to go for him. They might get him. It's very close, but Thrall is not able to deliver the final few blows. In the mid lane, Zarmany is currently guarding the Dragonite statue, and that shouldn't be a real problem for him. You have at the bottom lane already Vala in a bit of trouble. Zarmany even rotating around as the top shrine has been taken, trying to aim for a bit of a kill there, which didn't really work yet. At this point, we're already having... Oh, ADRD! Yes, blocked and taken apart. Job well done. Really nice moves here, actually, on their part. They get the first kill in against the Sandwich Monkeys, and we have them also on the side of Malfurion with Elune's Grace. So that already indicates a little bit that they are seemingly doing what I talked about earlier, trying to just like follow up with a root on the particular Bone Prison on Zul once that it comes to the team fight phase, since we have the extra range on the basic abilities, and that's going to be super important for those roots in particular. Also makes, of course, Malfurion able to stay a bit farther back, you know, like just not overextending too much, because there's always the chance that you are going to get hit by one of these stuns, and once that Tyrande and Thrall focus on you, you are starting to have a very, very bad day. The rotations that are happening here are still kind of trying to meet the shrines that are being caught. At the top lane, there's that lock up, and again Nika getting the extra damage in, also for the Gather Power, and a good kill against Thrall. This was actually a very, very important one. The kill against Thrall makes them lose a lot of experience at the top lane right now, or at least actually not as much as I thought, because the tower's out of ammunition and can't take the wave down fast enough, but it's enabling them to push the lane harder and go for a bit of tower pressure and tower damage as well. The bot lane, on the other hand, is more or less sieged up by ADRD in this boys. The vision that they have with the creep tumors is already quite annoying, and now from a safe distance of that shrine, they can simply start to assail the wall itself, which is exactly what they're doing. We're still seeing, by the way, the level 4 talent on Tyrande as an adjustment to apparently make sure that they can deny a Dragonite channel for a bit longer. So that's an interesting touch to the build that we're currently seeing here. Going into the Pierce. Oh, the snipe. Nice. First kill here for ADRD and his boys. So Team Sandwich Monkeys get their first kill. Falstad is down, could not rotate away from this one. We have again for ADRD, like literally the only game where he goes into battle momentum and not into rapid incubation. I called rapid incubation. That's literally the only game where he doesn't use it. Here comes that kill at the bot lane though. ADRD, he loves his lane sustain, we've talked about it. We have Kala's Embrace and Leeching Plasma now. Kala's Embrace is the most important talent if you go for support Tacita. Like literally all of the other talents that you have, you can exchange, but this is the one talent that matters, because before a fight happens, you can preload the shields on your hero, and this is incredibly important. We're seeing now also the Enduring Growth taken, we have the Ratma's Blessing, we have Boomerang taken after Power Thrown, after Gathering Storms, and also with the Poke build from a safe distance, which is going to be an important part. We're having Searing Attacks and Manticore, the Auto Attack hybrid with Multi-Shot. Multi-Shot basically only taken on level 1 and level 13 to make sure that you get the value and the utility of the Frost Shot completed, and oftentimes we see Executioner on level 16 as well, so you can capitalize on it even a little bit more. Capitalizing on things, we have ETF on top going straight for the Dragonite here. So yeah, they get the first one in the game, and they have the first tower down in the mid lane. They're going for a kill against Thrall now up to the top lane too. So Thrall take it down. Wow, that is at least for now putting a bit of pressure on this wall, so that helps. But the Dragonite is already through the entire wall, and is going to try and continue that process through the fort as well if he gets the chance. But down at the bottom, as you can see, they are still having another wall being pressured too. So both of the teams actually have heroes now on those lanes trying to pressure structures in, as the Dragonite is still trying to do that. It's an early Dragonite on the other hand, 5 minutes into the game, so not able to do too much. And in experience, that didn't even work out for them. Like, I'm not even joking. Up to this point in experience, that didn't really give a lead to Team Sandwich Monkeys at all, because the top lane lost a lot of his towers at the same time now too. We're having over here at the top, at least ATF should be able to get away from this one, especially with Zamani helping him out. But both of the teams, Dragonite or no Dragonite, are on the same amount of experience here still. A lot of towers have been taken down. AD might be able with the Zagara to eliminate the bottom one at the bot lane. We're having level 10s coming to play for both of the teams. And Tranquility, Gust, no big surprises yet. We're seeing the Poison Nova now taken as well. And besides that, we are also having in the same case, well, yeah, Avatar Chosen. I mean, that wasn't really a big deal. I would have been really surprised to see Haymaker here. In double tank lineups, going for the Playmaker makes sense. In a single tank lineup, even with the duel there, it's not so much a great choice. For now, he has to use Avatar. Does do exactly that. The dude moves back, but he's very low. He can't really participate too much. Rain of Vengeance, I'm loving it. Oh, and there we go. The kill potentially against Lumpy. The rain was great, by the way. Zoning out the opponent, getting great damage in. That was a nice value move. Problem is, they committed to a fight that they should probably not have taken in the first place and lost Zul then in the end. Basically, Zadoon was more or less useless for a huge part of the fight just because he's the target that they originally tried to snipe and they actually now might get. Wow! Barely escapes. And he couldn't really participate in the battle as is. He was so low, he had to move back first. Zul moved at the front and then later Muradin moved in again. But he was always under a lot of pressure there. But I love that we are actually in this case seeing a player that goes into the auto attack hybrid build, not go into strafe. It has been talked about a lot on my stream as well, I know. But still, most of the players that you talk to actually value Rain a lot more. But then again, it is harder to hit. And we're going to see how much value they can get out of it. If they use that after a Bone Prison, if they use it after a Root or after a Stun, they should be able to snipe a target down if they really focus it completely. But we're going to find out soon enough. So for now, we're having actually Prishpli and Leo starting to move in. We're seeing Zadoon starting to rotate over as well towards the left side, where they are even attempting to steal that camp away, but Tassadar is ready. They could get a Dragonite on the other hand, and whoa, Zadoon was still trying to get this one. Yeah. That happened. Muradin is not invincible, so yeah, that happened there. I mean, he could have bought maybe a bit of time for his team to get the Dragonite, but not even that worked out for them as intended. So him dying there served no purpose, and I'm not 100% certain why he jumped in the first place. Against 5 heroes, there's not really a big chance that he's going to get this. Well, for now, we are. One of the things that I could see is that he really was just playing fight. There's another Rain of Vengeance, saving Kidney, but nope, there's the Sun Ring as a follow-up. Oh, Prishpli, that wall of value! Value wall confirmed. Nearly killing him, but yeah, that was great play here. Zamani with a perfect wall in this encounter. That actually worked quite nicely for them. Dragonite number 2 is now going to be taken. They even have the time to set ETF on it. They didn't have to grab it fast with ADRD. So things are starting to spiral out of control of the Polish team. Team Polska is starting to struggle. Tyrande went into sprint, very an A talent that is being taken here. If you don't go into overflowing light, you're missing out, of course, on a bit of your heal. But we have a Tassadar in the same mix, so you can definitely make a couple of adjustments on your heroes if you run double support. So sprint it is. It's going to make her a bit safer, and it's making it much more difficult for the team to lock her down for the opponent. So repositioning during a fight is going to be much easier now for Phalanx in these cases. We're seeing also, besides that, with the level 13 talent, a very massive push at the bot lane with 4 heroes. They're trying to capitalize on that advantage that they have. Zadoon wants to go for Phalanx. Where is that sprint? There we have it. All right. So getting out of there. It actually like looked for a moment like he didn't really remember he had it. Like, did you see that? Like when he was trying to escape, he walked normal for a little bit, and then at some point he suddenly started to completely sprint through. It was just like he was trying to get away, and then suddenly remembered, oh my god, yeah, right, we have 13. I got that talent already. But yeah, he gets out of there, so no kill. 4 kills against 3. Dragonite is now done with. The mid fort has been eliminated. Vala has her frost shot though, and we see also a giant killer for Falstad. Besides that, a life seed is making Malfurion's life a little bit more difficult, I want to say. But he's still in a position where he can, of course, get crazy heal numbers out if he positions himself nicely in the back. And that's also one of the reasons why the Loon's Grace is working in his favor now. If he would have not taken that, he would need to go much more to the front. And like needs also, of course, that ice block. Like this, he should be kind of safe as long as he doesn't have to go deep when, for example, Muradin jumps in. Overall, so we have still at the top lane Zul doing Zul things, pushing stuff, and just like taking them apart. And I mean, look at his siege damage funnel, for example. Zul's siege damage is at 80,000. The only one that is more is Johanna on the opposing team with 90,000 thanks to Night Takes Spawn. Problem is that he stays a bit too long, and that might result in him getting eliminated here. Well, maybe gets away. Mighty Gust saves the day. Alright. Lumpy even committing the Sundering right now, but that unfortunately for him didn't really quite work. So at this point, when it comes to like hero damage, 80 already with his Zagara on 31,000, of course, like the spam on the Hunter Killer, the Mutalisk is still pretty strong. We're having also 27,000 for Vala. She's of course delivering a solid damage here, but we have 24,000 Falstad in a solid position as well. Slow attempt already. Here comes the Stormbolt any second now. Nope. Nice play. That was actually well done. ETF on top saw that Vala was coming in and immediately used his Iron Skin to make sure that he got away from the Frost Shot. And then Muradin, he was holding his stun. He was actually waiting for an opportunity to use the stun a little bit later. And in that case, yeah, Johanna turned around, used the rogue ability, and made sure that she did not die there. Level 16 talents are now ready for the Sandwich Monkeys, and that's already great for them. That means that we have Ranger together with Pierce, so the two talents that really dish out most of the damage if you go into this. We're seeing also Zagara not going into the Brood expansion yet. There we go. So now she can use it. ETF is still very much alone here. Got a bit isolated after we've seen that Mighty Gust still on point. More has been used by ADR on the retreat. Doesn't really need it. Use it as a block actually. And can now put some pressure on Nika as well. Still the fight for this camp. Zul is ignoring all of that at the top right now because he's zoned from these three heroes. Here comes the jump out and the kill against Johanna. Job well done, and now it's level 16 versus 16 talent. The biggest problem of the Sandwich Monkeys in this case was really that they were completely zoned. That was the biggest problem that they had. They were split. We had Zagara at the bottom of the camp. We had at the same time three of the heroes a bit farther to the left, split by the rest. So they never really had the team together and could do too much there. We have Hammer Time now, Tenacious Roots taken, and I mean that Zul amplified damage plus the Tenacious Roots, that is just such a nuisance. And here we go, that's where it starts. They're starting to move in, they're trying to go for the kill, and Zagara should be an easy kill. Wow, and she goes down. Wow, she survived for a lot longer than I thought she would. But now it's that vicious, it's that vicious circle that you end up in. You are always down one player. You can't really do anything against the Dragon Knight now. It's 16 versus 16. And that is a comeback attempt of Polska that could actually succeed because they are not only going to get ahead in experience with this, they are also getting into a very nice structural position because Zul already pushed down a lot of the structures earlier on at the top lane. The fort has been eliminated. We're seeing the mid lane fall for sure if they commit to it. But at this point, they are actually not really committing yet. They have Nick at the bot lane on his Falstad, who is just trying to push this one in. And Zul is dead, so he can't take that job. It's a 4 versus 4 right now. But yeah, they're starting to go in against Sarmony here. Of course, with Nika, he can just like poke with the Gathering Storm the entire time, and he has pretty solid damage output as is already. So Sarmony already in position here. Zul is making his way to the top lane. They are just buying time with the Dragon Knight. They have enough time. One of the biggest mistakes that you see players make oftentimes is that they just YOLO with the Dragon Knight into the opponent's structures and they don't realize how long these Dragon Knights actually last. You can wait for your team and then still get some value. And even you just posturing around in the mid lane and drawing the attention of other heroes oftentimes allows the rest of your team to get value on the other lanes. But now they're moving in again. They have 4 heroes together. Zul is alone. They still have a couple of seconds. They are about to like drop that fort here, and that's all that they needed to do at this point. So job well done. Got the best out of the situation. They are slightly ahead in experience, and they're looking pretty sweet. But we have in kills 5 versus 5, so this game is by no means over. I like that Vala is covering the retreat with the multi-shots here, using the using the multi-shot to cover the retreat a little bit. First thing that would happen Hero League here is that the team turns around and thinks, oh my god, we're re-engaging, let's go for it. But of course they are not. So they have a chance to actually go for another camping. Zagara is at the top, so they can steal this one away. It's a 4 versus 5. Zagara is making her way in right now. Nice force wall, splitting them completely. Sundering being used as well. The kill against Zul. The Rain of Vengeance is actually decent. Good lockdown with the stuns. Lumpy is in trouble. And one of the casters already dropping out. It's too much excitement for him. He can't handle it, and don't blame him because we have 2 heroes dying and we could see another one following this up. The camp has been stolen by the red team though. Team Polska takes it. And now we're seeing everyone else in position at the bottom of the map trying to push even a little bit harder with another camp that they are about to get. The Bruiser camp. Prishbli and Zadoon already there. Leo is waiting. Nika is moving in as well. It's still a 4 versus 3. Level 20 is going to be hit soon enough for both of these teams. Sailin, after the fight is over, now rejoins. So one of our French casters is finally back. Yeah, the action is over. So, well, in this case, it makes sense for him to come back. Things calm down a little bit. But, of course, in Heroes, it's always a bit tricky when you can't handle all the excitement. I mean, like, that fight was pretty nasty. The Rain of Vengeance was great, and then that Sunray that came out a second later, they locked down Zul, and it was actually really well done here. I was impressed that we saw that double kill on the side of Team Polska in this, because it really looked like it would turn against them. But the double support, yeah, was apparently not strong enough to keep the sustain up for ADRD's boys. Sailing out again. He probably already anticipates that there's another team fight happening in just a little bit. And just leaves for a moment to be on the safe side. And with that Dragonite coming up, I mean, can you blame him? There's already the 2 altars under the control. We have 5 versus 5 on the map. Yeah, here comes Tyrande from the bot lane now once again in. This could be it, by the way. Like, depending on how this fight goes, this could be it. Level 20 talents versus level 16. That's what we're talking about. Falstead going into Nexus Frenzy. Now, that's one thing that I didn't expect. I really thought Epic Mount is going to be it, but more damage is coming in from him now, and if they want to end it, definitely the right choice. Bone Spear has been taken by Zul, 20 versus 20 now. Nobody died, so they should be able to defend against this. If they would have lost 2 or 3 heroes, maybe like even 2, that would have been enough. Then not only would the keep be under pressure, but most likely Team Polska would have tried to core. As is right now, there is a chance though that more than the keep is going to fall. Zadoon is very low on the other hand, so that's a problem. But he uses his stone form, and that brings him back. But look at that burst against the Dragonite. Prishbli can't do nothing with this thing. They might not even get the keep. Look at that! They're not even getting the keep. They move away right now. There's just too much burst. Phalanx with this Tyrande, that extra damage and everything else that they push in. That's a bit too much. But yeah, I still want to highlight that talent again on Falstad. Nexus Frenzy, I love it. I love Nexus Frenzy. It's much, much better with the auto attack build in my personal opinion on Falstad. But Nexus Frenzy, together with the Giant Killer, can now put very solid damage on especially the front line with Johanna. The one reason why I find this a bit weird is that on this map in particular, we've been talking a lot about how much value you get out of your Epic Mount. And I really expected Nika to go for Epic Mount and just like hop all over the map and try to make sure that they get the objectives and that they're not losing against the Dragonite, for example. As is, Nika did go against that. They said, okay, we need a bit more damage here. And he is going to get that damage in for sure. It's a very cool choice. I have not seen this in a long, long time on Falstad. I can't even remember, to be honest with you, when it was the last time that I saw the Falstad go into Nexus Frenzy over Epic Mount. Especially not when it wasn't even an auto attack Falstad. But again, you get the value out of your level 13 talent, of course, for sure. So there is solid damage that you can dish out with it. Talking damage, let's look at it for a moment. We have actually already 100,000 siege damage on Falstad. We're still seeing at the same time 45,000 hero damage on him, 61k on the side of Vala, but 60,000 also for Johanna. And just look at Zul and on Vala, Sagar. too many Varas. Johanna with 170k. 150k against Siege on Zul. So those two really pushing the lanes back. And up at the top, this is currently Zagara. Yeah, this is basically everybody just trying to defend right now. The next objective is going to be the big play, right? This is going to be the big one. And I suppose Epic Mount could really come in and be helpful for you in this case. But at the same time, if you are in a situation in which you are just having one front line against you and you really want to pressure him down and lock him out, then that can work as well. ETF is under so much pressure right now. Has died 2 times so far in the game. We have 4 deaths on Zul, by the way, just saying. So again, the shrines are activating and the teams are getting ready for this one. Tenacious roots and everything are going to be very nasty in those fights with the amplified healing, as we've already seen. And with that Elun's Grace, you can always just try to just cut off the retreat path of the opponent. Fawcett is making his way over. He can still fly in. Bot shrine has been taken, and they claim also now the bottom camp, which is of course an easy one as well. I mean, at this point, they know that Fawcett is at the top. They know that by now they can go for their camp. They're having another one taken towards the top right here. So in this, actually no, because it's not there. It's just a trap that they set up. I actually thought they were trying to go for Siege Giant Camp. Didn't see in the minimap that it was already taken. So here's the potential fight. And, well, this is nice pushing in as well. Zidune, again, under a lot of pressure. Wow, aggressive Bolt of the Storm. They really want Falstad. They have the lockdown against him, but the Mighty Gust pushes them away. Here comes Tranquility from Leo and Tenacious Roots, but apparently the call was made to disengage for now. A lot of the heroics are gone. The only ones that are still up are the Force Wall and the Maw. We're having Rain of Vengeance and Poison Nova not committed to yet. That's a scary thought. And again, the fight for the bot shrine. And they have to face the music at some point. The camp is still pushing a little bit, but not too much. And down here, Zarmany is taking a lot of the damage. But Zagara is suddenly the target as the roots hit Johanna. Nice dodge on that Poison Nova. Only 2 heroes have been hit. That's not too bad. Zidune is in trouble. Where's that stun? Rain of Vengeance, indestructible procs on 20 for Johanna. She's still healed though. Still alright. But there comes the... Oh, Zidune is barely alive after that owl. A bit farther away, and the Ranger talent would have gone in with more damage. But for now, Phalux needs to somehow heal them up again. 2 seconds on Shadowstalk. Shadowstalk is going to be up in a moment. He needs those heals. They need to drop it, and there they go. Go straight for it, and now maybe... Falstad, 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 always Falstad. Mighty Gust being used again, and that helps. Hunter Swiftness would have helped with the engage here, but of course the heals alone are already worth a lot. And Tranquility is on a 25-second cooldown right now, so that's a big deal at this point, of course. Was used early in that fight, not even talking about the Poison Nova, who's on another 36 seconds. It was really important that they dodged the Poison Nova with a lot of their heroes there, so that was incredibly important. Up to the top lane, we're having 1 shrine taken, but of course the Gara won't be able to hold the one at the bot lane here. Yeah, this is actually a very scary... very scary situation for both of the teams. I mean, like, any kind of hero that you lose could be the end of it. You lose a hero and it could all be over. So we're having now still 0 deaths on our supports, Malfurion, Tassadar, and Tyrande. With Zarmany on Tassadar, by the way, like, really going aggressively in because he knows that he has Dimensional Shift and Prescience. And there's not really too much burst that can, like, kill him over the threshold so that he dies right away. So Prescience should trigger. We're having 200,000 siege damage already on Johanna by now. And when it comes to hero damage, Zagara and Vala still with a bit of a battle. But, well, Falstad is trying to come back into this and, yeah, claim his rightful spot as the bird on top. Oh, but boys, this is a close one. This is a really close one. I mean, it's the second game, so if Polska loses here, it's over. Then we are going to have our champion of the ZOTAC Cup. Here comes that Stormbolt, and, well, for now, Zidune jumps out, and he better. This is going to get a scary one. Over here already, there's a setup. Top lane is being pushed on the other hand. Keep that in mind, so that's going to push eventually against the keep, so you need to be careful with this one. Lockdown already against ETF. I mean, they really want him. It's one front line, and if they get everything on him, they might be able to kill him. Kill the tank and save the tank, save the team. That's basically what Zarmany and Phalux are currently doing on their supports. And let me double check again the damage on Tyrande. By now she must have pretty solid numbers as well. 41,000. That is not too bad. Puts her roughly on a level with Zul. Not quite. But yeah. Would have thought that she even gets more out of the Ranger talents. But yeah, she's getting the damage in slowly and steadily. Top is still being pushed. I want to highlight that again. Like, this is starting to really hurt, and they already break through the wall, but it's very difficult to actually move away. Zarmany and ADRD are trying to escape. Yeah, Thrall is on his way to the top. Nice, I like the Force Wall here, because it delays the Shrine even longer. That is very, very important right now, because once that you use that, we're having that happening up at the top. So, yep, there's Lumpy already. Cooldown is going to be ready, so that's going to be nice. So, yeah. Oh, by the way, we have... What? Okay, Tyrant Maw has now been taken by ADR. Now that's the new one. No Bolt of the Storm for him. Yeah, I've mostly talked about the level 20s on the opponent. Actually, this is getting a little bit scary with... Well, Tyrande can actually, like, just cap it. Sorry. Scary in the sense that up at the top lane, we're having now Falstad capping this one, and there was nobody at the bot lane yet. Timing doesn't work out, though. Yeah, sprint already chosen. Okay, ETF zoning a little bit. So a Tyrant Maw taken even for the cooldown reduction. More than anything else, I suppose, and the damage. I mean, the cool thing is that each takedown reduces it, so in fights you can use it usually like nearly, you can sometimes even use it twice. But no Bolt of the Storm is a bit crazy. Against this setup with that lockdown, not bolting away, ADRD is sure a very bold person. Bold person, not bold, that's me. Yeah, ETF on top is starting to... they're starting actually like to... Whoa, Sundering! And here comes the lockdown attempt, nearly the stun! Oh, okay. The Maw doesn't hit anything. Now it's on a 110-second cooldown still, and without any kind of takedowns, they won't get that reduced anytime soon. So they get the shrine at the top, Falstad flew to the bot lane. It's really just a wraparound at this time, boys. I mean, the first team to get a kill is very likely to make it. Salen has decided that he can face the excitement here and has made his way back into the stream. So welcome back, our second French caster. It's an exchange for the two as well. What's important in these cases is, I mean, both of the teams are rotating shrines, right? But you still try to get the camp. So rotations are important towards the camp so that you are trying to get a camp while you get a shrine. And that's a really big deal, because we saw that earlier camp, for example, to just move in and use that one here as well. So that's going to be an important one if you get another like siege giant camp that can push a lane. If you get like a bruiser camp, those are really going to matter. So for now, we have Zadoon already over here. Nika needs to be careful. We have a lot of cooldowns still not ready. Moore is on 50 seconds. Thundering is on 5. It's going to be back soon. Yeah, Salient leaves again as the team fight starts. And I mean, like, yeah, that's going to be an exciting one, buddy. If you, like, that makes... he just can't handle it. The French can't handle the excitement. They just simply can't. Muradin nearly locked down again. And yeah, there's so much pressure on him too. As the only frontliner for his team next to Zul, it's one of those things where every single time you see the fight start, Muradin immediately drops so fast in hit points that he has to rotate away. Moore is going to be back in 20 more seconds. Here comes the attack at the side. Sundering is still up. Oh, nice move away from that. Oh, Sundering already used. Nice move away from Poison Nova, by the way. Not already. There's the heal and there's the lockdown. That's the value right there. Reign of Vengeance with a kill against Thrall, and now it's a cleanup job. They go in against ADRD. No Bolt of the Storm means goodbye for him. That Moore was off cooldown, but he couldn't even use it anymore. And ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be game. That's supposed to be game at least. They go for ETF. He's trying to prevent it. And we see Tassadar actually. Tassadar is going to get this. Not in time. No, not quite. And that's game. 28 minutes in, this has to be it. I mean, it would be an amazing defense if they could actually make this work, but I just don't see it happening. Right now, if you have a 28-minute Dragon Knight, I mean, look at the damage that Beast dishes out against the structures right now. Salen comes back for the final moment of the game. Yep, most of the action is already over as he comes back into the match, and we are seeing now that core fall. There's 5 heroes against 3. No question who's going to win this one. We're going to see a third game between Team Polska and the Sandwich Monkeys. Congratulations and well played. And that was really well done here, especially with that last snipe and kill. So let's jump into game number 3 and find out who's going to take the finals. Alright everybody, game is about to start, and well, we have our third and final map between the two teams here in the grand final. The map is Cursed Hollow. That already tells you like that I'm starting to lose it a little bit, because I actually thought that Cursed Hollow was map number 1, but apparently I'm mixing it up with one of the games that was played previously. It was actually Infernal Shrines, I think, where they played the first time. So Cursed Hollow is our current map. We have the Sandwich Monkeys and Polska currently tied in the series. The winner is going to win the entire ZOTAC Monthly Final here. The Sandwich Monkeys, they have the first ban. And, well, when we're talking about bans, we have Thrall banned out. By the way, I want to highlight real quick that Li Ming in a lot of the games that we've seen here today was neither picked nor banned. Just saying, alright? So, a lot of people are still talking about the heroes. On certain maps, she's still banned. On this one, for example, looks like Polska is going to get rid of her. But we actually had quite a few games today where Li Ming was not really valued too highly by the teams. For now, though, we have the Sandwich Monkeys with their first pick. And right now, on Cursed Hollow, you can go into a Falstad. I mean, they have their pretty unique style to actually start drafts up. And they go into a Greyman, which is also a very strong choice for them, of course. We have Falstad available, which is very strong on the map. Muradin has been a very high priority for a lot of the teams. We've also, of course, seen huge priorities on heroes like Sonya, Sagara on certain teams like the Sandwich Monkeys is being played quite a lot. So that could be one of the things that they're currently trying to aim for with their draft as well. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff, especially on Cursed Hollowware, for example, the Tyrael as well is pretty sweet. We've seen Tyrael earlier already. And the Meridian as the focus. So now the question with Meridian, do you go, for example, into that Sonya right away? Meridian Sonya is a very strong opening for a lot of teams. Oftentimes you would like to go into something like it has done later, but it's the Falstad over the Sonya that they pick right now. So with Falstad, they have, of course, the Mighty Gust available, which so far has done very good work for Team Polska. I mean, they played Falstad in most of the games. Nika has been playing the hero quite a bit, and that allowed them to position themselves quite nicely, to just like move back from back engagements as well. And it is definitely a big deal for them to have the hero here. The Sandwich Monkeys seem to be very successful with Rhaegar so far. Their double support attempt in the last game didn't work out for them. So they play again Rhaegar. Fairlux is going to run the hero here. We're having them as well. I mean, they could go into... With the Sandwich Monkeys, I never really know what exactly they do. I wouldn't really mind them going into something like maybe a tank already, but there's still a bit of good damage around. Yeah, they go for an ETC. Okay, so ETC with the Mosh Pit threat with a stun that opens up a couple of options for you, especially when it comes to a potential second support. We've seen Rhaegar and Tyrande being used not only in Katowice by My Insanity, but also afterwards by a lot of other teams that went into that. With ETC as a pre-stun, you already have a very nice setup for Tyrande's second stun, so that is actually something that they could use again. So there is a chance for that. We have a couple of setups with this. You could go double support with Rhaegar Tyrande, Rhaegar Tacita. You could go into a second frontliner as well. And with, for example, a Stitcher still being available, if the Sandwich Monkeys decide to not like ban and force one of those for Polska, they could go into that Stitches and ETC comp that we have seen a couple of times as well. You get a good hook in, then the power slide with the stun. There's a lot of synergy between a lot of these heroes that can be used. And Polska is having a bit of a tough time with their ban, as it seems, like already running down the time pool. I would say that they can still ban out a bit of damage if they want. I mean, they ban out Zagara. They could have banned Jaina, since that's something that they've been afraid of in a few of the previous games where an ETC was run. Once that ETC gets, of course, a good mosh pit off, Jaina can capitalize on that quite nicely. Charism banned out again. It looks like the Sandwich Monkeys really don't like playing against Charism, right? Even when they don't go for a complete or like full lock against supports, they are still getting rid of Charism. And yeah, on any other map, I would have said, yeah, they're going to go into, they're going to threaten that Shogal again, which they played on Infernal Shrines and Tomb, but I don't believe that's going to happen here. Sonya plus Tacita is amazing now, of course, and it blows me a bit away that they did not ban Sonya. Like, they banned Charism, but they didn't ban Sonya. And Meridian Sonya with the Tacita as a support and a potential second support even coming in, that just feels like it's super powerful right now. And they go into an Abathur here. Abathur, of course, in Cursed Hollow is pretty sweet because you first of all get control and vision of the map with the Toxic Nests. You get Split Soak experience with just like Abathur having his body during any kind of like tribute on the map, so that helps. But that can be really strong. Double Greymane is also like, if you thought that one Greymane was like annoying to deal with, think about double Greymane. And there she is. We actually have, in this case, now Jaina taken. So yeah, the Sandwich Monkeys, they have Jaina locked down. So if they get that mosh pit off, that's going to be amazing for them. That's going to be ridiculously strong. And I could see a second support for sure for Polska. Maybe a Brightwing, maybe a Tyrande. Brightwing and Tyrande have both the option of like taking ETC's mosh pit out with a polymorph or with a stun. So I would like that double style. I feel Tyrande gives a bit more damage than Brightwing, unless of course like the targets stand around when she uses the Arcane Flare, but still. So Tyrande would probably be my preferred choice here, also to interrupt the tribute channels. Question is, can you play the Tassa solo here? And I guess you could too. But if you go for a second support, I feel it has to be Tyrande. It should be. Like, she offers too much utility and too much value to go for any other second support, I feel. And they go for Tyrande. Okay, I like that a lot. That's a very good choice for Polska. That lineup is scary. It's very strong. It focuses, of course, a lot on Sonya, but still. Let's see how the Sandwich Monkeys are going to deal with it. They have a potential double Greymane in these fights, or double Jaina, depending on what they need in this certain situation. And that ETC is always scary on Cursed Hollow with all those narrow little nooks in particular. But yeah, last game of the day, ladies and gentlemen. The Sandwich Monkeys going up against Team Polska. It's the third game of the ZOTAC Monthly Final, Grand Final, and we are in, well, we are on KhaldorTV. To the left side of the map, the Sandwich Monkeys. We have ADRD on Abatha. ETF on top on ETC. We have Phelox on Rega, Zarmini on Jaina, and Lumpy on Greymane. To the right side of the map, it is Prishbli on Falstad for Team Polska, so they switch it around a little bit since Nika is currently playing Tyrande and that double support setup that they're using. Zadoon again on Mirrodin with Leo from Poland on Tacita, and Blikitne is playing Sonya. So yeah, it's actually looking pretty sweet. The Owl is already traveling, pew, and hits home. Phelox is the one that is being hit. Yeah, Abatha already going here for Survival Instincts as a level 1 talent. So on this map, of course, it's one of the best Abatha maps that we have in the pool. You can still soak experience quite nicely when the tribute is up at the other opponent, like at the other, the other side of the map. There we go. Like sometimes you really just like sit there and you try to say something and your mouth just doesn't work the way you want it to, and it's just like, oh, nice stun locking. Wow. Oh. All right, Jaina. Yeah, it was nice knowing you. Abatha, by the way, very far out on the map. ADRD saying, like, this watchtower is mine. Abatha taking watchtower efficiently. Approved. Phelox at the bot lane, in the meantime, on the other hand, has already taken that away. I mean, Phelox, he really loves his lightning bond, right? We talked about this in the previous games, and this is once again the talent that he uses. And if you're alone in the lane as Rega, you get actually like very sweet push power out as well, since you can just simply use either the lightning shield on a minion, or you put the totem into the entire wave and put the lightning shield on that. That helps, and then you can just move your own body in too, and you just like burst the wave away in seconds. It's incredibly nice if you're trying to just do that. It was even better before Blizzard started to nerf the lightning shield as is. The one thing that you have to note, of course, is that the second lightning shield does not get any of the talent advantages that you have. So it's a pure basic lightning shield, only a bit of damage, and that's about it. But still, it's pretty sweet, and is one of the things that you can actually like always use when you're in need of like a bit of late push at some point. We're having Empower taken for Tyrande, so full cooldown reduction build, which is also the heal build. It's a build that heals the most because Empower on level 1 reduces on every impact of the Owl your cooldowns by 2 seconds. And that means all of your cooldowns. Not the Owl cooldown, all of them, including your heroic. So if you, with Pierce on level 4, for example, hit 3 heroes, you have 6-second cooldown reduction, and that's of course sick. You can spam the Owl, you can make sure that you are just like getting your Shadow Stalk a bit faster and get those heals in. So that's why the damage build is at the same time also the heal build. We have, for now, level 4 talents for both of the teams, and the first tribute is spawning, so that will see us Abatha at the top lane. Unless, of course, there's not a full commitment here at the bottom. Already, the Polish team is starting to move in, and Abatha is making his choice, going straight into the Prolific Dispersal. So, you get the additional charges. They are going for the interrupt. Alright, so Abatha is taking his position at the top. Abatha is going into the bush. Guys, this is something that if you want to play Abatha, you really have to learn that perfectly. Watch the minimap, see where your opponent is, and if everybody is gone and an objective is up on the other side of the map, make sure that you soak experience with the body. It's way too many Abatha players out there that don't know that yet. Greymane actually isolated and taken down, that's a problem. That means they're only with 4 heroes here. They're all with 3 actually, and that's the biggest deal. So what currently the team is trying to do here is they try to delay the tributes for as long as they possibly can, so that Abatha gets more soaked with his body. Abatha only soaks with either his body or with his symbiote. So as long as the symbiote is here, Abatha soaks experience with it. As long as the body is in range, he's soaking experience with that as well. And that's the reason why Prishbli actually flies straight into these bushes, because he wants to make sure that he can kill Abatha if there is a chance. Abatha teams have at the start of the game oftentimes a bit of a problem. They only have in the fights 4 bodies. Once that you have your heroic ability and you can go for the copy, you have 5. So that is a bit of an issue, whereas which basically results in a lot of the teams neglecting the first few tributes. Well, neglecting might be the wrong word. They're not really focusing too much on getting the tributes on KhaldorTV, but instead they're just trying to delay that for as long as possible so that they get an experience lead by Abatha soaking different lanes. And I mean, in theory, Abatha, for example, can set himself up at the top lane and soak experience over here, can put his symbiote on a minion in the middle, soak 2 lanes at the same time, whereas the rest of the team is just delaying the tribute for as long as they can. And if you have a lot of poke, then you can do that quite nicely. So that's like one of the ideas behind it. And then later on, when you have a level 10, you're starting to go into a bit more team fights. Camps are now taken on the map as well. and that is pressuring the Sandwich Monkeys even more, because now they have to deal with the camp in the mid lane. Oh, but they could get the kill. Nah, not quite against... jumping in against the towers would not be a really good idea, especially after Blizzard buffed the damage on towers against heroes by 50% in one of the recent patches. So Abathur is doing exactly the same thing again. ADRD moves up to the top, fights down here. Great zoning for Falstead, by the way. Falstead is going to get that in, and ETC tries to go at least for Nika. Nice. With Abathur, they get 1 kill. They get the 2nd kill against Sonya. Do they get a 3rd? Nah, they lose ETC. The ETC drop was a bit of a problem. 2 tributes against them, but they have a solid lead in experience right now, and for good reason. Abathur has still been soaking wherever he could, and was also busy, of course, with his symbiote then to help the team out. So right now we have on level 7 the Icelands taken. We're seeing Boss even attacked already. Phelox and Lumpy are on the job, and Zarmani is moving in. Abathur is going to try and help out a little bit if he gets the chance to. Here comes the Owl on the other hand, but it's nearly taken. Mirrodin is on the way though, and Falster can fly into. Vile Nest is there. Here comes Mirrodin. ETF is on the job, and they can go in, push him out, and the jump, but Zadoon is dead, and the boss is taken. Nika is about to fall. This is a disaster for them. Yes, Greymane is dead as well, but with Tyrande and Mirrodin dying, and now also the attack against Sonya, this is actually one of those scenarios that could not be worse. Level 10 and boss against you. Up at the top lane, we're by the way seeing ADRD right next to it, being annoying. And Bloody Kidney is going to be taken out on his Sonya. That's another kill for them. Abathur has chased away Tacita. Not quite. They knew that it would come in, but Abathur takes right now the tribute. Tacita just basically realized that he wouldn't be able to get the tribute, and therefore he just said, alright, I have to back off, because if the rest of the team rotates in, they might try and take me down. Here comes the go for the throat. Abathur with a copy by now. Mid lane pressure at the same time as the boss is pushing the bottom. We're seeing also the mosh pit now. It's 5 kills against 4. And that was so far actually like pretty fun. I mean, Abathur really getting the work done. Look at the experience soak, by the way, on Abathur. It's not really too crazy yet. That's going to increase later on when he can just like move on a few more lanes. I mean, we're 6 minutes in, so right now he doesn't get too much value out of it yet, but he's still the hero with the most experience in his team. So he has done pretty well. It's all one of the reasons, because during the tribute he had to actually go into the bush to make sure that they would get that. ADRD? He gets the kill in. Alright, so ADRD gets the kill actually against, well, with his Jaina copy against Tacita. We have at the bot lane the Ford still alive, so it's still not down. And well, over here, we're seeing just ETF on top, Zarmani and Lumpy trying to help out as ADRD is going to the bot lane to increase his experience soak. So that's exactly what's going to do there. While helping out at the top on Greymane, the kill against Tyrande, who went into Shadowstorm, so into Starfall, by the way. For a moment, I had to think about what the ultimate is actually called. There's Lumpy again, Mighty Gust being used, but yeah, we actually have in this case a Starfall being used and Leap. I am loving the Leap, by the way, even though it didn't work out yet, but that's a lot of lockdown. The problem is that Rhaegar can cleanse that out, of course, at least the stun, so that's an issue. But yeah, I love the aggressive setup here. I love that they do that. But let's see if it's going to work out for them. During all of this, here comes the mosh pit and the double Greymane for the kill against Tacita, the kill against Sonya, the kill potentially against Mirrodin, who's trying to escape. They are actually saving him somehow. Oh my god, Nika and that stun, that was amazing. But ADRD with a copy jumps in and takes Falstad down. Level 13 for them at this point. Well done, but they went deep for it. And Phelox is low, but with the help of ADRD, they killed Tyrande as well. Guys, this is going to be team wipe. They end up team wiping Team Polska, and ADRD is still soaking experience at the bot lane too. Pressuring, of course, the 4th tier. This is getting insane. They go for another boss as well. I mean, the Sandwich Monkeys, they are showing some incredible play right now. Bombard Strain is there. ADRD, first he kills earlier Tacita with his Jaina copy. Then in this fight, he copies Greymane, goes in for the kills, and helps to really just annihilate the entire team after jumping straight in on Falstad as well. And after the copy is finally done with, he goes straight with the symbiote on I think, what was it? Was it Rhaegar? I think it was Rhaegar, and helps out to take down Tyrande as well. Great play here, and the combo that we're seeing for Team Polska has just not worked out yet. They, of course, are going to try to maybe cluster everyone up with a Mighty Gust and jump in with a Leap, get the Starfall on top of that, zone and snipe targets. If they get a good snipe with a Leap, for example, against the backline, that would already help, but not if Blakitny has to use it to jump away. The zoning is stronger thanks to the Starfall, but over here, this is not looking too pretty. Boss is completely leashed at full HP once again, but once more ADRD is just being a pest. He's just moving in on his copy, and this is trying to hammer them down. Going into the middle of the map once again, sending just a locust everywhere. Yes, Prishpli flies straight into the mine, gets taken out there. That is spiraling completely out of control. I mean, this is really, really spiraling out of control right now. At the top lane, they're trying to go for the boss again. Guess who's on the job as the curse is hitting? There's Zarmany. He went on level 10 already in the water elemental, and again, they're just zoned out. 13 kills against 5 now. With Polska dead, he can fly in. They're still willing to go for that fight. ADRD is taking position with Abathur in the middle of the map, as you can see at the minimap here. So he's currently right over here. Has no copy up yet. 9 more seconds until the copy is going to be ready, so he can use that in a little bit. We could see that double wolf once more. Greymane did solid work. Leash has been accomplished, and therefore we have that on full hit points. During all of this, by the way, the curse was raging, and that means that the lanes are getting pushed. That eliminated the mid lane, where ADRD was pushing. The top bot lane has also started to lose quite a bit. So that's a lot of time. That basically was just the problem was really for Team Sandwich Monkeys is perfect because the curse pushes all of the waves, right? Of all of the lanes. They push the structures. They push like the fort down in the middle. It's perfect. The more time that's being wasted at the top with the boss, the better for them because the lanes are doing work. But for the opponent, for Team Polska, it was the exact opposite. Every single second that they wasted up at the top lane was for them losing lane pressure, losing structures, and that is exactly what happened there. So they are now nearly 3 levels behind. It's level 16 versus level 13, and that is going to make ADRD's life even more fun because he's going to go into the Locust Brood. And that allows him to just move out on the lanes and simply just like pressure every single one of them whenever he pleases to. We have Overflowing Light now chosen as a level 13 talent. We see Muradin going into the super safe build with his Spell Shield against the potential double Jaina. That makes, of course, perfect sense. There's also the Cocktail to be considered, which is a pain as is. But once more, we're having ADRD in the mid lane on his Abathur. He can move in, he can drop the Locust Brood whenever he wants to, and he moves to the top and does it there while the bot lane is being pushed. So he pushes the lane out, he makes sure that this lane is not going to be a problem for them, and with lanes constantly pushed out, they also have very good vision. Down here at the bottom, copy is not up as is, so they need to be careful. They're trying to go for, of course, to keep with the boss if they can, but with that Starfall now also in play, it's unlikely that's going to happen. Yeah, jump, leap is still there, Blakitny still has that, but they move away for now, and that's a smart choice. Core is, of course, not touched yet. Keep is still on 40%, 30%, and we're seeing them just moving through the lanes. But look at that minimap. Look for a moment at the minimap and just like realize how far all of these lanes are being pushed in and how very little vision currently the team in red has. They are very much pressured back. There's also, of course, Abathur mines everywhere. Like everywhere on the map, we are currently seeing those too. In terms of damage, by the way, we're having 40,000 on Greymane. Abathur's at 25k, which isn't too shabby either. 20,000 is the highest damage amount that we're seeing for Team Polska, and that's on Toranda. Thanks to Shadow's, to the Starfall, of course. I think I called it a second ago, Shadow slot again. But yeah, it is, of course, the Starfall that she's been using. So that gives her a bit more damage. It's a nice zoning tool over the boss, over the Tribute. And they can actually use that. Shadow's Dog is still the better tool when it comes to sustain in the fights. But with this particular build and the cooldown reduction, you still get a lot of heal out of the Overflowing Light. But if you can just like spam your Starfall out every single time you fight over an objective or over a boss, you slow your opponent down, and that allows also for a couple of nice plays with Leap and what else they got. So it is definitely not a bad choice. I'm really liking it. But overall, the combo is, at least up to now, not really working out for them. Level 16, soon enough for the Polish team. Abathur with mines everywhere. He has his perfect dispersal there. We have also the Vileness, like both of the talents, nuisance. And this is the moment that is going to be tricky for the Sandwich Monkeys. Now it's 16 versus 16. And that is the moment where the Polish team is going to try and fight, make some plays. 16 versus 16 is really, this is their timing window. And that is when things are becoming a little bit scary for the Sandwich Monkeys, because even though they are 2 levels ahead, this is the moment when it's on. It is totally on. And there's the leap. There is the attempt to burst the healer. He's down, but the mosh pit. Oh my god, the interrupt from Tyrande was so important. Prishpli nearly dead. If that interrupt on Tyrande would have hit like 2 seconds later, they would have lost 3 heroes. But as is, we're having ADRD and Zarmany going for the double Jaina. The problem is they can only zone the opponents back. They still have a level 18 versus 16 with a 4 versus 5 situation in the game, which opens up the boss at the top. Abathur is moving. Basically, the reason why Abathur is actually like moving here in the middle of the map the entire time is that he can actually send the Locust on the top or on the mid lane, depending on where he's positioned. That helps him. And also, of course, he was in position for the Tribute as well, and gets a couple of additional mines in. So every now, that helps quite a bit. For now, we're seeing, again, the Tribute fought over. And this is a Curse Tribute, by the way. This is a Curse Tribute. Talking curses. This one down here is going to potentially still push that fort or that keep down with those Locusts. Yeah, that could work, but the Curse might just have saved the keep. I think the Curse... yeah, the Curse actually saved that keep. That keep would have fallen if not for the Curse at that moment in time. It's still suffering quite a bit of damage, but it's not being dropped. So now we have the Curse that's going to push the lanes back. Shouldn't really do too much damage to the structures. Again, the potential burst against Sonya. Not quite, but we're having the Force Wall, and that is a good one. ADRD does not want to lose his copy. Double Wolf is being used here. He's jumping in again, tries to get a couple of auto hits in against especially Muradin, and it goes straight in with an attempt for the kill. But Mighty Gust has been used. They're trying to disengage here. And they are the ones that cursed, by the way. So, yeah, they got the curse in, but they have to disengage in this case because they're all so low. This is like a pretty sick back and forth game that we have right now. I mean, overall, when we're looking kills and everything and also levels, and yeah, the Sandwich Monkeys are, of course, like way in the lead. But if you just look at how close these fights are becoming right now, there's a lot of comeback potential. If you get just one good leap and then the burst against the target and can eliminate that before the fight really starts, that's going to be great. With leap, I could have actually seen Sonya also go maybe into Spell Shield on level 13. I'm a bit surprised that she doesn't do that, since if you leap in, you need to survive long enough. But Nerves of Steel are going to be a huge help for that. Boss, like, for how long did Team Polska try to get this boss now? 10 minutes? It feels like 10 minutes. It wasn't 10 minutes, I know, but still, it feels like it was at least 10 minutes. And they still haven't gotten it. Nobody got it. Every single time we have the interrupt there. Yeah, Copy is up, by the way. Copy is ready. Here comes the leap. They go for the dog, and they take Rhaegar down. Again, the mosh pit, though, and this time, there's no interrupt. They get the kill against Falstad, but the counter kill against Jaina is immediately there. Blade Kidney falls as well. Sonya is down. Nika is dead. Even with a Starfall, they could not make it happen here. They're still trying to go in. Lumpy is still around and he wants his kills. ETF can actually just simply push Muradin back, and I think he has a stun too. But Stoneform is coming up again, and that forces ETF now back too. But it's still a nice trade. 2 kills against 3. And of course, Abathur immediately takes the bot lane for experience. And by now his experience is at 16,000 that he soaked. And we are having the second highest experience soak in the game, or like in his team, by Jaina with 10k. So a pretty huge difference here with Abathur just like jumping around all the time. And now even of course on level 20 he has basically the Locust nest that he can put into play, and that is going to push the lanes even more. It's absolutely great for them, for Vision and for everything else. We're seeing the Hunter's Blunderbuss, a double Bolt of the Storm for ETC and Jaina, and we have Rhaegar with the Storm Shield. That actually helps him to survive as well if he can use it in time before Sonya leaps in. It's actually one of the reasons why I personally still think that Cleanse should be applicable to yourself, because I think back in the old days when the entire change was introduced, it kind of makes sense. Since then, Cleanse got changed a little bit. It feels weird that Rhaegar just can't cleanse himself, because that makes him like the priority target, and with like heavy engage tools like Tyrael Judgment or Sonya Leap, it's nearly impossible to not be in range of those at some point. So if he could cleanse himself, he could at least cleanse the stun out and make sure that this stun lock would not happen. But with him not having the option to Ancestral himself and not having the option to actually like cleanse himself, he has a huge problem in all of these fights, and he's the #1 target, as you could see in the last 2 battles. Abathur, again, like everywhere. And that's the reason why we're having Prishpli actually at the top lane currently trying to de-push this, because he sees that there's like the Locust Brutes once again, and with the Nest coming into play, it's just massive, massive pressure. This is the second Tribute, by the way. I don't think he was stunned. I actually think he just cancelled the channel. Someone could have also, by the way, taken that Stormbolt for him, like, seriously. There's nobody else. They know that Falstad is at the top, what's going to happen. So they get it finally. ETF moves into that stun for a moment, so it's two tributes against 0, and that of course could bring us into a curse situation again. Abathur is already doing his thing. Bot lane is a bit under pressure since there's currently a siege giant camp that was taken a bit earlier. Boss attempt, but already they have to move back, and 20 might not be there yet, but that could still turn around against them. Yes, here comes the stun lock, and wow, Bolt of the Storm is making it happen. ETF on top, that was a very wise choice. As the only frontliner, he went for Bolt, and that helps him, of course, with the mosh pit setup against the opponent. He can bolt in and use the mosh, but it also helps him to escape, and in this case, that was perfect. Without it, it would have been a disaster. He would have died for sure. So, Nerves of Steel have been taken on 16 and then on 20, immediately going into Ignore Pain to make sure that they just keep Sonya alive longer. Mirrodin also, and we're having Celestial Wrath right now. So you have a damage increase on top of it as is, and you can be cast globally, which is just crazy good too. So in this case now, this team got so much more scary right now. Not only the added value out of the Starfall, but also that Sonya is able to survive longer in these fights is not going to make things easier at all for the team in blue. Abathur still is a massive pain though, and I mean he's proving that. Look at just like this massive wave pushing in. And eventually you're going to end up pushing structures down, pushing keeps down. This particular tribute, they can let it go, the blue team that is. That's going to be an easy one for them. Abathur doesn't have the copy up yet. They have the copy in 5 seconds, but that means tribute is taken. Again, ETC being attacked. Abathur is helping him out whenever he can. They know that keeping ETC alive is a huge win condition for them here. And Abathur is helping with that as much as he can. And he's still pushing that top lane. He's draining the ammunition on the towers. He's forcing also Falstad, of course, to take care of these situations. And for Falstad, it's going to be so good that he has Epic Mount now. Epic Mount on Falstad is going to be a big deal for him because he's finally in a position where he can just react a little bit faster to what ADRD is currently doing to them. 81,000 hero damage on Greymane by now, the top damage dealer for Team Sandwich Monkeys. And for Team Polska, we're having 46,000 on Tyrande as the highest damage dealer. Like, compare those damage numbers a little bit. It's really crazy what we have there. I mean, we have Tyrande with more damage than Falstad. We have Tyrande with more damage than, in this case, also, of course, Sonya. The one thing that I still want to also make sure that you guys realize is that there's a lot of, like, AoE damage as well. And not burst AoE damage, but, like, damage that tickles in over time. Like the owl that is being hit that you can heal out before the fight starts. Then, of course, in the fight, the Starfall. So it's not really comparable to a hero that is able to get the same amount of damage in against a single target. Like what we are seeing from Valas, for example, these times a lot. Or even to a certain extent from Greymane, even though his cocktail has, of course, also a bit of a poke. But yeah, Tyrande, in this case, is mainly poke, but in the fight she can get a lot of. Makes the numbers not less impressive, but of course it's not like she's the new main assassin in the game. That's not gonna happen. Over here on the other hand comes the copy on the double Jaina. They're trying to go, and ADRD is zoning them out already as is. Here comes that stone form. Interesting that Avatar was not committed to, so apparently didn't want to fight just yet. Usually, of course, you are going to try and head into Mirrodin, Avatar, and then stone form. Nice done, and Sarmony, perfect blink. Perfect Bolt of the Storm there. Well done. Gets healed. Phalox with also really good reflexes. The curse against them, guys, that is a disaster. And they kill Falstad. Oh my god, the Sandwich Monkeys. They might just have won it here. Lumpy is trying to go in once again. ADRD, where is he? He's straight on top of... He could jump on Greymane. He's at the bot lane right now, pushing the lane even with the Locust. They might lose Greymane, and they do. ADRD is too late for the shield, but Sonya is falling as well. It's an even trade in this case. 1 against 2 overall in this particular encounter, an even trade. Bot lane keep is now falling. Over here, Mirrodin is jumping the wall. Leo is incredibly low. The Stormbolt stops ETF though. ETF with the aggressive Bolt of the Storm, and Abathur is helping out. Mines everywhere, slowing Leo down. Leo is dead. He's taken down, and every single lane is pressured. That's gonna be core. That has to be core. 2 heroes are alive, and that's it. And now the top keep is falling. Abathur is pushing everything in, and they are going to try and take that core down as is right now. This could be ADRD and his team getting the championship here. The curse is over, but the core is falling, and it's falling fast. Here comes Falstad. Does he have the Mighty Gust? He does. He gets stunned though. Uses the Mighty Gust, but only hits 2. They're trying to go for Jaina. They take her down, but it doesn't matter anymore. Abathur could even go in for the slap if he wanted to at this point. Well, Phalox is being helped here, and that's the GG as Team Sandwich Monkeys takes the victory and also they win the ZOTAC Monthly Final. Congratulations on them. Well played and a great series here for our final.